Good evening, colleagues. This is Curriculum 304, Module number 4, Tutorial number 4, that is finishing up the direct lesson, the last 3 steps of the direct lesson plan. So I'm going to start with checking for understanding. So if you'll pull your module up, you can follow along with me. You're going to create a checking for understanding activity and checking tools. We're going to talk about the tools in a minute. Again, you are scripting everything you're going to say, everything you're going to do needs to be scripted. So in this particular section, let's go immediately to the rubric. It says you'll need to design a set of checking tools for every student. Of course, you're not going to design 25 tools because you're not physically going to be teaching this, but I do need a sample. So a checking tool is much like when you're driving your car and you're getting ready to take a trip. You pull out your oil thing. Oil, what's that called, honey? Dipstick. That's right. The dipstick. And you wipe it off and you put it in again and it says perhaps quart low. Okay, that speaks volumes. You've got to go back and put in some more oil, right? So in many ways, it is dipsticking. In fact, Dr. Madeline Hunter, who is credited with designing the direct lesson, does call it dipsticking. So checking tools. I want you to think about going into urgent care. And in urgent care, you see these tongue depressors that they use when they check your throat, right? Imagine a tongue depressor on the top. Here's this is my thumb depressor. Tongue depressor here, and this is what it looks like. Kind of like this, right? Okay. So a checking tool, there's 2 of them that you'll design, and you're going to be designing under the rubric 4 to 5 questions to ask them directly from your input and modeling, directly from your who, what, when, where, why. You're going to ask them questions, and you're going to say, I'm going to be asking you questions. Let me contextualize it for you. Let's say that your objective is list 3 characteristics of poisonous snakes in your herpetology journal. Okay. So I'm going back to my who, what, when, where, why section, and I'm going to gather data from there, and I'm going to create questions. And my questions are going to be about the characteristics of what a poisonous snake is about. So I'm going to design questions. So a student here, let's pretend like here's the checking tool, right? This one would be a Google image that I would find. That would be just a regular snake, Mr. Snake on here, who is not poisonous. You know, he doesn't look poisonous. We certainly don't want to use Google images of mean, nasty looking snakes. Just regular snake, no rattles, just not a pointed, diamond shaped head. And then we're going to find a Google image of Mr. Snake who does have that pointed, diamond-looking shaped head and the rattles. So I'm going to ask the students, I'm going to say something like, I'd like you to hold up both of your tools, your checking tools, okay? As you will see, herpetologist, Mr. Snake here does not have any rattles, and he doesn't have a diamond-shaped face. So he is non-poisonous. On the other hand, here's Mr. Snake number 2. Look at his diamond-shaped, pointed kind of front of his mouth. Notice his rattles. Notice he's like ready to strike, correct? This would be a poisonous snake. So let me give you an example. When I give you a characteristic, if you think that the snake who has that characteristic is poisonous, I want you to hold up the poisonous snake picture. If it's non-poisonous, hold up the non-poisonous snake. Okay? So here is the first question. Are you ready? Hold up Mr. Snakes. Okay. This particular snake has venom. Which one would you choose? The students go, this one. Yes, correct. That is a poisonous snake. So these are checking tools. I want you to design one set of checking tools using Google Images and also a set of questions. Now let's look at step 5. Let's look at the rubric. Did you design a set of checking tools for every individual student? No, but you just want to design for one individual student. Did you do that? Yes, I did that. Did you use Google Images? Yes, I did. Did your image that you selected for your tools match your content? So if I am going to have, if snakes, poisonous and non-poisonous snakes would be my content, then I'm going to have checking tools with a snake on it. I'm not going to have a thumbs up. I'm not going to have a yes, no. If I'm doing Underground Railroad, okay, then I'm going to have an Underground Railroad that will have a house that looks like it was a safe house, and then I'm going to have a regular house that is not a safe house. So you design your tools to your content. Once you've done your scripting, once you've shown me your tools, you cut and paste the rubric section again, and you make sure that's checked off. Let's now go to step 6, guided practice. These last 2 steps are a walk in the park. All you're saying to the students is, herpetologist, I want you to slither over here, and you have them slither over to the icon, your visual icon. Remember that in your input modeling, how you had to have an icon? In my icon, I'm going to have a snake for my icon. And I'm going to say, you slither over here. And now it's time for you to, and I'm pointing, list 3 characteristics of poisonous snakes in your herpetology journal. I'm going to give you 7 minutes to do this. I will be walking around. Ready, go. That's it. Okay, let me see if I've done that. Let me do the rubric. Oh my gosh, there's only one item under the rubric. Were the students doing the B&D while you were walking around? Yes, that's in your verbiage. Check that off. The last step, very simple again, step 7 is independent practice. The only difference in your verbiage is that they are not doing it while you're present. Independent means without you. I remember going whitewater rafting on the one of the rivers in gosh, where was that?
The Gully, the new.
Yeah, the Gully in the New River, West Virginia. The Gully was the big dead one where you wore the helmets. Mine was the New River, but it was up because we had water. And I remember we had a guide. And I remember that in the guided practice, I was really happy we had the guide. And the independent practice would have been me going out again with a group of people and not having the guide. Nobody got time for that. So independent, it sounds just like the guided practice scripting, other than you say, when you go home, I want you to grab brother, sister, aunt, grandma, friend, and say, let's sit down. I'm going to list 3 characteristics of poisonous snakes with you, Grandma. That's it. Let's go to the rubric under independent practice. Oh, you're going to cut and paste that too and put under your verbiage. Take a look at that. Exactly. They are going to do the B&D, the same objective, the same verb that we did right at the beginning from the standard. What I would really like to have you do is send me your objective before you get any more into your lesson. Differentiated according to CABD. That's all for tonight. I hope you have a really good evening. You may not even hear this for a couple of days, but I know practicum starts this week, and I've heard back from several of you, and you've really enjoyed it. That's really good. So be safe, and I love you guys very much. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.